See, that's what she get. Dragging somebody in who ain't got nothing and putting him off on family.
You're talking about family, putting them off on me. I'm the one who paid for this wedding.
Teri, why you always gotta let everybody know you pay for everything?
Because I do.
Hello everybody, I'm Coco Cosmos, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the rich sister archetype, specifically in black movies. You know how to spot them, because they're usually type A, have expensive looking items, or you guessed it, family members with their hands out. I've noticed the pattern as I've gotten older, and I want to take a deeper look at it. Let's get started. What do these three women have in common? They're all rich and all perceived as snobbish and rude. No matter the circumstances, no matter their past, they're just mean for no reason, right? They gotta be doing some form of hating, or they're stingy, or they've abandoned the family. I don't agree at all. Let's start with Kelli Whitmore in This Christmas. I think you can guess what the movie's about. Kelli is the second oldest sister, third child of the family, and big-time Harvard graduate that lives in New York. She can be a bit blunt, which is another running trait within the bougie sister character, and I'm not mad at it. When she arrives home for the holidays, there's obvious tension between her and her sister Lisa's husband, Malcolm, because of his ego issues. Upon greeting the family, they ask her about work, and everyone jokes about her cooking skills. But it turns into a thing once they ask when their brother Claude is gonna settle down. It's clear that there's resentment between Kelli and eldest sister Lisa, but still love. See, Lisa did her big sister duty and learned how to cook, helped her mom with the family dry cleaning business, and became a wife and mom herself. But Kelli went off to college instead. Lisa felt she didn't have much choice in the matter, since everybody else left the house except for the baby brother who's college age. That night at dinner, she sees Lisa heating up Malcolm's food because he likes it extra hot, and even cutting it for him like he's one of her kids, and makes a comment. I don't blame her either, because that's a bit much. Then Malcolm asks Mel's boyfriend why he chose an all-black school, putting his superiority complex on full display. Kelli cannot stand this man, especially since he's behind Lisa trying to talk the other siblings into selling the family business. Lisa gets offended that Kelli is implying that she's Malcolm's puppet, but it's more of a if the shoe fits kind of thing. Another thing about Kelli, she doesn't have a man or any kids. She's not adverse to it, but she's just someone that deserves someone like her. It's clear that the family prioritizes, well, family. Because this is the second time it's brought up in the convo, with her mother reminding her that a career won't keep her warm. Again, I don't blame Kelli. Your partner should always be on the same level as you are. Whether that be career, kids, or your mindset towards life in general. You gotta be on the same page. She does find a decent enough guy though, even if they first met at the club. She finds out about Malcolm's cheating on Lisa, which just gives her more of a reason to hate this man. But when she tells Lisa, Lisa responds that she already knows, but she can't leave him because she has no degree and doesn't want to be a single mother. Kelli is not trying to hear that. Calls her pathetic for allowing it and tells her women do it every day. So it's not an excuse. They tussle in the rain, but they make up in the end, and Lisa gets her revenge on Malcolm by destroying his prized possession. Kelli is a true girl's girl, honestly. She says the things that you hate to hear and has your back. That's real family. Her relationship with Lisa got better because Lisa realized she wasn't really upset with everyone going their own path. She's upset that she seemed to get the short end of the stick. Lisa may have disliked what Kelli had to say all of the time, but knew it was true, which is why she hated to hear it. She's unapologetic about leaving to make her life better, which I also respect. She didn't abandon the family. She just did what was best for her. Let's move to example number 2, which has a similar situation. Teri Joseph in Soul Food. Soul Food is a movie all about family and centers around the matriarch who falls ill and is told from the perspective of Ahmad, Maxine's son and Teri's nephew. Teri is the eldest sister and a lawyer who does really well for herself with a lawyer husband, Miles, to complement her success. Or, in what you would assume. We first meet Teri at her baby sister Bird's wedding, where she's comforting her on her special day that Teri paid for because her newly made husband is bumping and grinding with his ex in a short dress. I'm not a slut shamer, but that's just tasteless, bro. She also paid for Bird's hair salon and the taxes on her mom's house, and just like Kelli, chose education over domestication, which comes up over Sunday dinner, a family tradition and the focal point of the story. She and Maxine start arguing over the dinner, and we get a little backstory into their beef. Turns out, Maxine's current husband and father to her 3 children used to be Teri's boyfriend. Their mom had a rule that if they were going out on a date, they had to bring a sister with them. It was at this moment that they fell for each other, and Teri knew what was on the horizon. There was nothing confirmed, though, until she caught them making out in the car. It's been semi-cordial attitudes ever since. Teri's not gonna sit back and let her throw jabs at her, but that's still her sister. Like right now, as Faith, the black sheep of the family, shows up to the house. The 3 sisters all start talking about how she shouldn't be there and Maxine has no room in her house. Then Maxine went into labor. A little while after that, all the sisters are with their mom at the hospital because she burned her arm while cooking and learned that she's not taking care of her diabetes properly. They get the news that she needs surgery, and after being stubborn about it, she agrees. Then we get to see how Teri lives, and she does very well for herself. Don't know if we can say the same about the husband, because over dinner they start discussing money, and how some of it is missing from their joint account. A whole $5,000. Miles says he took it out for studio time. Turns out, he wants to take being a musician more seriously. Teri is shocked and thought it was just a hobby because how could you throw away a prestigious gig like being an attorney to go into the unstable career of being a music artist? Bro is super offended by that and walks off saying they're getting separate accounts. Teri tells him just to let her know next time. Faith is here, by the way. Big Mama goes to have the surgery, but it doesn't go well. She had a stroke during the surgery and is now in a coma. While everyone's visiting, Maxine says that Sunday dinner is still happening, and Teri thinks that's ludicrous. They start arguing over it, and Teri boils it down to her always having to be the responsible one, and the one to go to law school. A lot of people would say that doesn't have anything to do with anything, but to me, she's clearly the disciplined, responsible, and mature one of the family. Especially when they pushed her into that role when they started using her as their bank. The fact that Maxine just couldn't keep her hands off Teri's boyfriend, it shows everything. They took a vote on it, and no one goes anyway, so it doesn't matter. Mal tries to cheer Teri up with some music and dancing, but she's not into it. He then tells her he's committing to music and quit his job after she can't make it to his show. She's annoyed, and she has that right. Because you quit your job without a word to your wife, who you already gave a preview of your married life to when you started working less hours. Then Faith walks in, so Teri asks her how the job search is going. Faith tells her about the audition, and Teri wants to know what's her actual angle, because her track record is absolutely terrible. Then Teri's husband cheats with Faith. I hate how this is painted as 2 unappreciated creatives. Then the look on their faces after it's already done, I can't stand them. Because Faith showed up to Miles' gig that Teri missed, and Miles played music for Faith's audition, and all Teri did was tell them both to get real. Faith's dance routine was ass anyway, and Miles' group is carrying him. They don't know that Teri knows until it comes out at Maxine and Kenny's 11th anniversary party, and the sisters try badgering more money out of her. Maxine volunteers Teri and Miles to pay for their mom's hospital bills, and Teri will be damned. She says that they can sell the house. Maxine and Bird say that's not an option. Never mind the fact that Teri has been paying the taxes and utilities on the house anyways. Then Teri drops the bomb after Kenny says she should think about the family.
Oh, the family! The family! I let the family in my house. You know what? The family my husband. Yeah, Faith my husband. Miles.
Well said, because damn that family, honestly. Big Mama ends up passing away after this event, after waking up briefly from her coma. They have the funeral. Then Maxine sees Teri has put the house up for sale. All the sisters meet up at a restaurant where Maxine serves Teri with a cease and desist on the sale of the house. You fools! Bird is pregnant, by the way. And here's another thing that burns my buns. Their mom always said Maxine was the strongest of the family. Like, we have to be serious. These people would run a nun ragged. Mind you, Miles was husband number 2. So her sister stole her boyfriend, she divorced the first husband, and now her cousin has had sex with her new husband. And the family thinks her money is for the community. What the f does this look like? A charity? I would have lost my mind so long ago. I commend her on holding it together. Her nephew Ahmad tricks everybody into coming over for Sunday dinner by telling them that Big Mama left him hidden money and he would split it with them. Everyone shows up ready to go after seeing everybody there, but they stay for the food. It didn't stay cordial for long though. After Lemme tells everyone he got his job back after being locked up, Teri tells him that she called in a favor to get him out and he should be thankful so he can focus on his pregnant wife. Oh yeah, Bird flirts with her ex to get her husband a job after Lemme told her he can find his own. The ex starts instigating at the job and Lemme throws a punch. Job lost. Then he starts getting active at Bird's salon. Like, he broke a glass door, grabbed a rough, and started yelling in her face and throws some stuff. I mean, what would you think is going on? So again, Teri stepping up, she made some calls to that side of the family that would handle it. Lemme was strapped and caused a scene at a bar, so since Lemme's a felon, he's not supposed to be carrying and gets arrested. Bird snaps at Teri, basically saying she needs to mind her business. Faith starts to leave, but Maxine tells her to stay so they can solve it as a family. Man, move, bruh. Teri and Miles have an open conversation at the table about their unhappy marriage, for whatever reason. The house almost burns down, and they find the money Big Mama was hiding. And for some reason, the ending tries to give the illusion of a happy ending, with the family forgiving each other, and keeping Miles around even after the divorce, and Teri being happy that she's alone and made partner. No. Absolutely not. Hell no. Teri should have dropped her family like a hot rock and have them fend for themselves. If Teri was really like that, she could have had that house sold by next week. Cease and desist be damned, considering she has a power of attorney, left Miles with nothing but his pocket change, and moved on. Speaking of moving on, last but not least, we have Kimberly and Medea's big happy family, who is a little similar to Teri. Kimberly is a real estate agent and the younger, more successful sister of the family. She's married to Calvin, which I don't know what his job is, but he looks important, and has a son named CJ with him. We're first introduced to her when she arrives at her mom Shirley's house after Shirley has Bam, Kimberly and Tammy's aunt, invite everyone over for dinner. The reason for wanting everyone together is Shirley's cancer coming back stronger than ever and her not having long to live. Kimberly instantly walks in with an attitude after being a little late because of work. This will definitely set the precedent. She spoke the truth though. Tammy's kids don't have any in-home training, especially the older one. Tammy comes back after taking the other son to the bathroom and makes this comment.
I know you're not talking about my children. My boys that I'm raising?
She's so hateful. You'll see why in a second. Kimberly wants to know why she's even here and is very impatient to leave. It's clear she doesn't hang around her family too long. And after a whole thing with Byron and his baby mama, Byron leaves with his son and Kimberly leaves too, saying she has to go pick hers up from daycare. She says this in a calm voice, mind you. And if Kimberly wanted to be exceptionally sweet, she could have come back for the dinner. But here comes Tammy, raising her voice when it doesn't need to be raised. Calvin tries to make peace, and Tammy says she's sorry that he has to go home to that. Her own sister. Later on, Byron gets arrested for the second time for potential drug dealing. He used to deal, but after he got arrested the first time, he quit. But since there's a rumor going around that he's back in it, I guess cops got wind of it and got a warrant. Shirley shows up at Kimberly's house asking for bail money. Kimberly's actually shocked that she made it there and asks her what's going on. She's speaking to her in a reasonable tone now. She gets annoyed to hear this is about Byron getting arrested and tells her that she's not giving her any money. Shirley tells her he wasn't dealing drugs this time, and Kimberly asks how she knows. And she drops this line.
I looked into his eyes. A mother knows.
A mother knows.
Kimberly is better than me, because I would have told her to get off my porch after that. This is not the first go-round with Byron and his legal troubles, clearly. Guess who foot the bill? Kimberly. She paid off her mom's mortgage, lawyer fees, and I'm assuming bail. Calvin comes down and tries to see what the problem is, and Kimberly tries to shoo him away, but he invites her mom in. Oh my god. Shirley then tries to bypass everything that Kimberly just told her. He then tells Shirley that he'll bail Byron out. He disrespects Kimberly in her own home. Kimberly said what she said, and Calvin tries to scold her. And honestly, Calvin should have stayed out of it. That's her family. He only got married in. If she made this decision, it's for a reason. But he went above her in the sake of family. Then Shirley has the nerve to say this.
I don't know why she treats me that way.
Are you sure? No idea at all? Bullshit. That is some grade A bullshit. So Medea finally gets everyone to come to the dinner Shirley wanted, but here's where everything comes out. Even approaching Kimberly at her damn job of all places. Like, how very dare you? Y'all begging and begging for my money. But when I need to make it, everyone has a problem. And then Calvin gets on his damn soapbox and threatens to take her son from her. See, the way my anger issues are built, I'd have bopped somebody by now. We would have had to scrap. Specifically Tammy.
I'm not the one who got pregnant at 13 and had mama to raise my child.
Tammy!
Say something now.
Disgusting. Like, it's some sort of gotcha moment. Now Byron starts asking too many questions and finds out that he's Kimberly's son. He's the product of sexual assault when Kimberly was 13. At the house, Calvin starts packing a bag and takes CJ with him. He says he can't take her behavior anymore and says he can't believe the secrets she's been hiding. And honestly, he should go to hell. And he had no right to take her son. Then Shirley dies. And they had Kimberly sobbing over her corpse and begging forgiveness. I hate that so bad. Medea walks around the house after the funeral and notices all the drama and the foolishness. She sits them down to get to the bottom of everything. Calvin and Kimberly go upstairs to talk things out. It's actually a sweet moment. Can we blame any of them for their behavior? Everyone's always so giving with someone else's money, or they're just straight up jealous of life choices that they didn't make. That's none of their fault that you decided to stay in your hometown or that you took a different career path. That doesn't give you the right to their potential generosity. Potential. The only person I can give any leeway to is Kelly's older sister, Lisa. Now, I'm an only child, but I've heard and seen a lot about the eldest daughter role in the family, which is basically being a second mom. And I'm so sorry to those people, but I could never. Lisa was expected to help her mother because everyone else left, and she took on the responsibilities as eldest daughter. But when her sister came at her with real facts, she wasn't trying to hear it because she felt she didn't have any real choice at that point, hence the resentment. I only give her a pass because I feel it's pretty realistic given the circumstances. Of course you're gonna stay with the guy because you have kids with him and he's the only guy you've ever known. Of course, you want people to mind their business regarding decisions you made. It takes time to realize, actually, this isn't what I want, and I'm hurting myself by staying in this situation. Everybody else in these movies can take a long walk off a short plank for all I care. The family knew what Faith and Miles did was disgusting, and still kept them around in the name of family, even after the divorce. That's absurd to me. And they treated her like a personal ATM on top of it, which is driving me up a wall. They tried so hard to make it seem like Teri was being selfish, when really, she was just toting everyone. And Tammy was an asshole for no reason. Nothing was wrong with her at all, unless she's also harboring some sort of covered up trauma. But coming straight from her husband, she's always been this way for no reason. This is why I hate how these women are painted like they're being assholes for no reason. They've put up with so much trying to keep themselves together that their suffering doesn't matter at all. Like right here, Teri is clearly afraid of losing Miles or being unsupportive, so she tries to calm him down and seem reasonable. She never said that he couldn't do music, just that it should remain a hobby and not take up so much of their income if he's not going to contribute enough to cover it. Again, she's not trying to pay for literally every little thing for everyone. When it comes to Kimberly, she gave what she was going to give and put her foot down. They hated that. I'll admit that she doesn't have to be so mean to her husband, and yelling at the baby was a little harsh, though he does need to learn. I too wouldn't want my child to end up like Tammy's badass kids. I only have to assume that she has been stuck in a trauma response for so many years that she barely notices. She thinks her anger is warranted, which it is, but it shouldn't be directed at everybody. Again, I can only assume that because of her turning down counseling, and I don't blame Calvin for trying to leave, but he didn't have to take her child from her. I'm glad he gave her a chance to heal at least. Everyone treated her like a villain, and the writing painted her like a villain that just hates everyone and everything. It's so dumb, but I know it's accurate because some families are notorious for having that keep family business as family business only. But it's the fact that everyone except Byron and Calvin knew why she was behaving the way she was. Especially her mom and big sister, but they wanted to play dumb. There's nothing wrong with having a little money and not paying for every little thing that a family member wants or needs. It gets tiring having to take care of everybody but you. Then they're upset when you actually have to work for the money they're asking for. Why is it always expected that the more well-off family members will just take care of everything? Why is it never just seen as potential generosity? At the end of the day, these are just movies, but there has to be some truth to them. I think the characters were written very well, except for Kimberly and Teri's ending. In my opinion, I don't like how she was portrayed as this hateful woman that spews venom every chance you get for like 75% of the movie. The reason comes out after all these years. Poor Byron became collateral damage, and then she apologizes to her dead mom, seemingly regretful. I hate it. I don't want her to be sorry. I want her to dance on her grave, to be honest. It's this weird thing in society that you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead. I only believe that to a certain extent. Because if the person was an asshole living, that doesn't make them less of an asshole just because they died. We gotta get real here. I may make a part 2 exploring Tony Childs from Girlfriends and Eva Dandridge from Deliver Us from Eva. But what do y'all think? Got any other tropes you want me to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. Coco Cosmos out.